Hi and welcome to Ali Lives Well on Less. I'm Ali. I'm an early retired teacher, currently living on a small pension and thriving on that. I think I live really well and I make every penny that I have coming in, I make it work really hard for me. And today, on Monday, I thought I would talk about some of the hobbies and skills that I have practiced, developed over the years, and how useful or not useful they may be in living a frugal lifestyle. Now, if you're a regular, you'll notice that I am filming in my bedroom today, and that has confused Miss Luna no end. So this is actually, I think we're on take 5 of this this video today. So I've had to go and get her peanut yogi ball, and that will hopefully keep her quiet for about 5 or 10 minutes because she keeps coming and trying to bite the things I'm going to show you. So if you hear a licking noise, it's just Luna. It's just Luna in the background. So hobbies that either can be frugal or save you money in the long run. And some of these hobbies are really useful to a frugal lifestyle. And one of the skills that I have, I think, is that really since I was certainly pre-teenage times, was that I like to cook. And cooking, baking and preserving from scratch is definitely a skill worth developing, because it does save you money. And looking at the stats on my videos, I know that my most popular videos are the ones where I show you how I make things. And I love it when people then come back and say that they've tried something. A lot of you have said that you have tried sourdough because you like sourdough bread, and definitely being able to make a sourdough loaf yourself at a fraction of the cost definitely saves you money. So cooking, baking, preserving, making your own jams, chutneys, pickles. It might be dehydrating, drying fruit and vegetables that you grow yourself or you forage. Definitely saves you money. Another skill that is worth developing, and in the beginning, believe me, I was rubbish at it, but I have now been doing my own DIY for well over 45 years. I remember as an early teen painting my mum and dad's shed in the back garden, and I think it was to get a badge for the Girl Guides. I'm sure there was some sort of practical element to that, and that definitely ignited my love of do-it-yourself. And I certainly grew up in a family where if we could wallpaper or paint, put up shelves, put up curtain poles. I certainly watched family members doing it and learned how to do things and also how not to do things, because my dad, bless him, was not blessed with patience, whereas my mum had the patience of a saint. So my dad would come in and do the tricky bits and my mum would do all the hard work. So I learned from both of them how to do quite a lot of things. And I've said before, I will have a go at most DIY things, but I draw the line at anything electrical, anything that needs to be up a ladder or scaffolding, because I have vertigo and I'm not good with heights, and probably plumbing. I could at a push if yeah, I could probably change a tap or do something like that. But part of the skill of DIY is knowing your limits and knowing when to call in a pro. And while I would have a go at tiling a bathroom, it would take me so much longer than someone who does that for a living. So you have to weigh up whether it is worth your time, or if it is worth just paying someone the money to do something. And either way is fine. I am not judging anyone who calls in tradesfolk to do their stuff. That's just a matter of choice. But where I can, I will do as much as I can myself. And I do remember that one of my first Christmas presents when I was first married in my very, very early 20s actually was a power drill from my in-laws. So even when I was married and was a lot younger, I was the one that did all the DIY anyway, and I have just continued that as we've gone along. So another hobby skill that I have, and in the early days this did save money, but it's now considered a luxury hobby, is knitting. I grew up in a family of knitters. Both my mum and my aunt are expert knitters. I would never claim to be an expert knitter. I am an experienced knitter, but they can do all the fancy stuff. They can do cables and fair isle and, you know, all the fancy stuff. And certainly when I was younger and still at primary school, I always had a hand knitted cardigan to wear, and quite often I would have had a handmade skirt as well. But back in the 70s, it was cheaper to knit a cardigan than buy a cardigan. So that was just something that my family did. Now, of course, it has become a luxurious hobby, and you can spend a lot of money on yarn, wool, to make garments. But you can still use it as a frugal hobby. And the reason that I've brought you upstairs is because I've got a few things to show you that I have made from using up leftover balls of yarn, little scraps of yarn, various things, where I have made sure that when either I or a friend or family have bought yarn and they've had some left over, it has not gone to waste. So I'm going to show you a couple of things from my knitting. I think Luna has just finished her yogi ball, so she's probably about to make an appearance, so bear with me a minute. Okay, so she might jump up in the bed because she loves biting this cardigan. So last winter I gathered up my huge stash of random balls of yarn and decided I was going to knit myself a big stripy cardigan, sort of chunky or bulky weight wool, if anyone is a knitter. So it's nice and thick. I didn't have enough to make a garment that just had one type. So what I did was I combined different yarns so that they were all a nice sort of chunky weight, and I knitted myself a cardigan. So I made up this pattern myself, so I can't tell you how to make it. It is just stripy, colourful, random coziness. So I'm just going to stand up and I'm going to sort of show you what I've done. So here we go. I'm going to move you back a little bit. Okay. So there we go. Just a sort of boxy cardigan. I didn't want any seams at the side, so it's all knitted in one. And it is just lots of different weights. Sometimes it is doubles, sometimes this, for example, is sock yarn, so I think there was about 3 strands together. Luna, you need to get out of the way. Out the way. Out the way. Oh. Okay. And I made the sleeves really long and I left a thumb hole so I can either have it like gloves and it'll keep me extra warm, or I can roll it up or pull it up. It does have a button band. I haven't got buttons on it yet, and I might make a belt for it, but it is cozy, cozy warm, and all made from leftover yarn. Okay, the word my brain was searching for was circular needles. I cast on, I think it was about 200 and something stitches on circular needles, and I just knitted that. So the other thing that I knit is socks. These are my latest pair, not long off the needles, nice woolly socks. And quite often with sock yarn, they give you enough in a ball to knit like a man's size pair of socks. So there's always sock yarn left over. And I knit some little squares. It's basket stitch. I don't know if that's picking up or not. So I knit lots of little squares. And then I don't know if you can see it. I stitched them all together, and this is my sock yarn leftovers blanket, and it's just lots and lots of different sock yarns that either I have used or again my mum and my aunt have given me, and their friends who knit have given me their teeny tiny little balls of leftover yarn. So I don't know if you can see. Yes, and there. This is why I don't have nice things, and she'll probably plonk herself right down in the middle. So using up other people's leftover yarn, yep, I'm quite happy to use that. And I knit blankets. I can crochet. I'm not brilliant at crocheting, so I can crochet some blankets, some nice stripy blankets, and that's using up just leftover yarn that's not needed for anything, and you can make yourself some nice cozy things to keep you warm in the winter. Is she circling on it and she's going to are you going to lie down on my sock blanket? Yes, she's obviously decided that is nice and cozy. So knitting, yes, it can be expensive if you are buying new yarn and needles, but again, you can pick them up from friends, family, charity shops if you are interested. And YouTube, as I keep saying, you can learn to do anything on YouTube. So if you're interested in knitting or crocheting, there are loads of brilliant channels out there. So another leftovers, again from my lovely mum and her friends. My mum sews and always has done. She's lately got into quilting, and you maybe saw on a previous video she made me a beautiful quilt for my bed. But I also get some of her leftover fabrics, quilting fabric, and I have been hand stitching. These are hand stitched hexes, and I make them into these sort of flowers. So I've got loads of these. In fact, I was unpacking some boxes over the last few days, and I found a lot of my craft supplies. So hopefully when I get my spare bedroom emptied, I will be able to set up my craft supplies. So I make these hexes all by hand, and I don't want to disturb Miss Luna. And these are getting hand stitched, and this will be a quilt at some point. Again, this has been on the go for many years. The sock yarn blanket has been on the go for at least 10 years. This one, maybe about 5 years-ish, certainly pre-pandemic. And it will be turned into some sort of blanket at some point in the future. Again, all using just leftover scraps of fabric as well. So sewing is something that is a really good skill to have. I learned at school. I'm of that generation where they learned at school, but obviously I was seeing it at home as well, and my mum frequently made us clothes to wear. And in fact, shout out again to my lovely talented mum, she made my wedding dress. So all those years ago, she actually made my wedding dress, and my sister was my bridesmaid, and she made a bridesmaid's dress as well. So making clothes is something I have done over the years. I have also refashioned clothes from charity shops and also just cast-offs from family members. And for a wee while, I was actually a member of the website, the Refashion Co-op, where really talented people on there would take something pretty hideous and turn it into a wearable piece of clothing just by altering. So that is definitely something that I would quite like to pick back up again. Again, once I've got my craft room set up to go. So sewing is a great skill or hobby to have because you can make curtains, cushions, and all sorts of things, clothing to fit your own body. Again, it can be an expensive hobby, but you can pick up patterns, clothes, tablecloths, curtains, all sorts of cheap or cheaper fabric from charity shops, thrift shops. And I know that Frugal Queen, she makes beautiful, and I mean beautiful quilts from bed linen that she gets in charity shops, and then she makes quilts and donates them for her animal charity. But it does not need to be an expensive hobby, and it is a great skill to have as well. So just bear with me 1 minute. Sorry, I could hear a beeping elsewhere. So we've done cooking, baking, preserving, DIY, knitting and crochet, sewing. Another hobby skill is a good one to develop is gardening. You can grow fruit and vegetables in a small amount of space. I currently have an allotment, but I am going to give it up next year because I just don't have the time to devote to it properly. And I am going to develop a sort of an allotment garden here in my new garden, in my new house. So my house faces south, so the front garden is quite small, but it's enclosed. It's got a fence, so I'm hoping to grow soft fruit in the front garden, and I'll be able to net it from the birds. And in the back garden, I'll be able to grow some other things with the help of raised beds, and I'm hoping to put in a small polytunnel next year, just a little one. And I'll share that with you as well. But definitely being able to grow food saves you money in the long run. And there's so many other benefits to it as well. What you doing? She's very confused that I'm filming in my bedroom today. Yes, so growing fruit and vegetables gets you outside, you can grow organically, and it's fun. And it's fun as well. So other hobbies that I have had in the past, because if you have hobbies and you craft, you will know that buying supplies is different from using supplies. So, and I'm talking over the last 20, 30 years, I have been doing some of these things. So I have also been into making candles. I still have a huge chunk of beeswax somewhere in a box that I can use either to make candles, or I can use it in making salves and lotions, and that's something I want to get more into next year as well, making not cosmetics as such, but I can certainly make my own salves and lip balms and things like that. So again, if I get into that, I will show you, but I already have all the equipment. And jewellery. I also went through a spell where I was making jewellery as well, just for fun, and I would give it to friends and family for gifts as well. So that's a few hobbies and skills that I have been developing over many years. And if you are inclined, you can sell things that you make. But I have found over the years, I did have an Etsy shop where I sold some felted tartan items like brooches and cushions and what else did I make to sell? Christmas tree decorations. But people, as much as they liked them, loved them even, were not always willing to pay the market price for things. And places like Etsy and some craft fairs, it costs quite a lot to actually go to a craft fair or to open an Etsy shop. Or I also sold through a little sort of craft boutique as well, and obviously they took commission. So in order to make money from your craft or hobby, you have to set your prices quite high, and not everyone is willing to pay a fair price for your time. For your time, mostly they'll say the materials only cost you a few pounds. Why are you charging £20? Well, you're paying for your time as well. So I can see from my timer, oh my goodness, we're over 20 minutes. So hopefully there is something here that is of interest to you. There are lots of skills that you can learn to save you money. And as I've said, YouTube is a fantastic place for learning how to do loads of things. And certainly I am about to fit, I'm attempting to fit a roller blind to my bedroom window. It's a blind that I bought from my old house, never used it, brought it here and realised it almost fits, so I'm going to have to cut it. And all I did was go into the YouTube search thing and say how to fit a fitted blind inside a window, and I know how to do it now. I just need peace from Miss Luna. So I can spread it all out on the bed and cut it and saw the little bit off the end and blah blah blah. Again, if I remember, I'll film it and I will show you. I will show you that. So please comment below what hobbies and skills do you have that have saved you money or you would like to develop so that you can do them yourself and not pay a small fortune to pay someone else to do. So another slightly different Money Monday, but remember, every penny helps to in these times. So every penny that you can save is worth doing, especially in the run up to that time of year. So like, comment, subscribe, and I saw this morning, today's Sunday, that I am now at 8,000 subscribers, so thank you so much if you are one of my 8,000 subscribers, and if not, please do just click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. All it does is make sure that it shows up in your home feed, and it does get promoted in to other people's feeds as well, because they always like to promote popular videos. So hope you enjoyed this different and seeing some of my hobbies, and I will catch you next time on Foodie Friday. So have a lovely day and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.